Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hold On to Dawn podcast. I'm your host, Erin, and today we have a very special guest. It's Margie Mays.
Can you see me
Yay,
now?
there you are.
How are you? Oh, this looks so good.
Oh, thanks.
Good
Your
setup.
lighting is really good.
Everyone always says that. It's because I'm literally right in front of a window. Um, and like every time I log into a Zoom, everyone's like makes their lighting feel bad. Like it's just the window. I don't have anything special. A really good setup. I moved in and I was like, this is perfect for videos.
Yes, it is.
I love this. I love the posters in the back.
Thanks. Yeah, this was our from the May concert, and then that was from the one I had last September.
That one looks so good. Wow. Oh, that looks with the sun.
Thanks.
I love it. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am good. I am been just like, I don't know about you, but it's been a busy season. Like, I can't believe, I feel like it was just the beginning of the year. I've just like been
Yeah.
so, so swamped with work. And then I'm moving to Santa Barbara, actually, which is like so desirable. I'm doing a show, another musical, and I'm moving for 6 weeks, which is like not that long in the scheme of time, but it's just making life hectic. I'm like, I have to get everything in order. I'm going to New York City for another audition. I'm just like back and forth right now a lot, and it's wonderful stuff. But going to New York and back is just so chaotic. Like, do you like
Yeah.
New York? I don't know if you're a fan of that city.
Well, I live in like outside of Philly, so it's only like we drive like 45 minutes to the train station and then it's like an hour 20 train, so it's like not that big of a deal to get there, but from LA to New York, that's a lot. And then the time change and yeah.
Long and it's so overstimulating when you're there. Like, not in a
Yeah.
complete way, but it's very sensory overload. And maybe I'm just more sensitive to that. But and then I think maybe if you're visiting like via train, you might not feel as homeless, sort of. But when I'm there, I'm like, I'm so far from my home. And
Yeah.
you always have a million bags, and it's always for auditions. And it's just like, I'm in work mode, but then sometimes I meet up with my mom and I just want to be in like daughter mode, but I can't be. And or it's like, oh my gosh, I have so many friends who live there because I'm from like you, close by. And
Yeah.
then like I want to be in friend mode, and I'm in so many different things. And then it's just like you, my mom and I were laughing because she met up with me last week when I was there again, and she was like, "Did you hear about all the people getting punched in the face in New York City?" I'm like, "What? Are you joking? Have you heard about this, Erin?"
No.
No, it's a thing. She's like, no, 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 I'm serious. There's all these articles where these women are getting punched in the face in New York City. I was like cackling,
What?
but it's a thing, I guess, if you're like, you look it up, there's all these women who've been like, one guy was arrested for it, but I think they think it's like a slew of people.
Oh
But
my God.
women who are walking around New York City like on their phones and they just keep getting punched in the face. I don't know, but it's actually real. And the point being, I am going back for one more trip, and it's like, I kid you not, I'm there for like 18 hours. Like, I land on the 28th and I sleep, and I'm going to go sleep at my friend's apartment in Brooklyn, and then I'm going to go to my audition the following morning, and within 3 hours I'm back on a plane to come back to LA, because by 10 a.m. the next morning I have to be in Santa Barbara to start rehearsals.
Oh my
So,
God.
and I just came from being there for 5 days, and I'm just getting my life set in order. So anyway, this came on a perfect day. So I'm so happy to talk to you.
Yay, I'm so happy that you could come on because you were like one of the first people I thought of because it's so entertaining to talk to you. You always have so much going on and your personality is amazing too. So.
Thank you. I'm so glad. I'm like proud of you for doing this. I feel like
Oh, thank you.
many people truly, I mean, like myself included, will be, at some point in this age been like, oh, I'm going to start a podcast, and no one does. Like, or some,
Right.
or it goes to fall to the wayside, or even like getting a microphone set up, which is crazy because I'm a singer. You'd think that's ridiculous, but I'm like, even getting that set up, I'm like, ah, it's a lot of work. And
It
so I'm
is. Yeah.
proud of you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, because I had the idea when I like went for a walk one day and then I was like inspired and I was like, okay, I could like host the musicians and people from the AFSP and da da da. And then like 2 weeks went by And then I like didn't do anything. And I was like, wait, maybe it's like too much. But then I was like inspired again. I was like, no, like just do it because it's going to be fun and it's something that it's a little bit easier to manage than planning an entire concert. So I was like, if I could do that, I could do this.
I think that too. And also just truly like I feel like it's always been you know what? Every time I've ever seen you it's been chaotic because I'm like doing another my life is a series of like 24 to 48 hour trips to another place. Like I could
Yeah.
fly to Paris for 48 hours. Recently too, like it's been crazy and I I never get a chance to like sit down and just truly like applaud you because I think planning stuff takes a special kind of patience and brain and um you really have pulled together some amazing things. I would never want to take it on. Like I don't even want to be someone's maid of honor, you know? Like it's too much responsibility and
Yeah.
I but I can see and I always feel it like from these concerts like it comes from a true place of inspiration and desire to like bring people together for to benefit something and to really make to create something special and it's just so amazing seeing you do that like that is a lot of
Thank
work
you. That means a lot.
a lot of work and I don't know I'm a words of affirmation person so I'm like you should hear it and
Thank you.
I'm always like okay I'm doing my set I gotta go bye I never get a chance to really tell you that when there's 400
Uh-huh.
people pulling at everyone in every direction so
Right. That day was so chaotic. It went by like in the blink of an eye for me too, because it started like chaos when they were like, "Oh, the road is closed, so
oh
everybody
my
has to like
god
be because the race."
I know. And have we, but we've done two of those, right? Did we do two separate benefit concerts or no?
No, we were gonna do the one this March, but then
Was there one? Okay, I actually
there was
literally,
one that was supposed to happen in 2020, but then it got postponed. So maybe you're
wow, I also have done multiple shows at the Queen. And so
uh
in my honest, genuine memory, I thought I'd done two of these at least. And then I've come back for other little concert things. Yeah, I was certain we'd done two. Okay.
no, just the one.
Gosh, life is weird. We're old now.
That's so funny.
Memories. Whoa. Okay. Thought I'd done two with you. We've done one. Anyway, I'm so happy to be here. I love that we're
Yeah,
doing this.
me
Do you have any
too.
questions? How are we doing? How do you format your?
Yeah, so I have like a bunch of things I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you can like go on a tangent, like whatever you want to say.
Okay.
I want to know like in as much detail as you want to tell. So, the first thing I want to ask is like, what was your experience like doing the benefit concert? Well, it was 2 years ago, which I can't believe.
I mean,
But yeah.
obviously I'm laughing because I thought we did two. I was gonna just be like, well, which one? So
Ah,
in my brain, I
that's
thought
so
I've been
funny.
at least 2 to 3 benefit concerts with you. And I guess I only done one. I had such a good time. That was like May. It was right around my 29th birthday. It was like what was it? Like May 14th. I think I said yes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, because I was doing Legally Blonde.
Mm-hmm.
I took a weekend off and I was like, let's make a trip of this. Let's do the benefit concert. Let's also celebrate early my 29th birthday. Gosh, truly, I have absolutely nothing but amazing memories of our benefit concert because one, when you get people together and musicians together, well, no, just doesn't they don't have to be musicians. Anyone, that group of people together to do something good, like and I guess the older that I get, the more I'm like, I need to make sure I'm actually like servicing other people. You know? Do you get? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you must get that feeling because what the things you pull together, these concerts. Um, it's so important as you get older to like step outside yourself, like you just me thoughts. Like when you're a younger person, hold on, there's a car passing. When you're younger, I feel like it's just who am I, self identity, me, inner thoughts. And then as you get older, you're like, what value am I bringing to this world? Like, I want to make sure I'm giving something to people. Um, Even if it's so small as like, wow, I really brought them joy to that interaction,
Hmm.
something small. But anyway, so there was something special in the air that weekend and that night. But that was a great, and it was all the perfect amounts of like chaos and fun because down to the fact that what was that run? It was like a 10K, marathon?
Yeah, I don't even know, but we found out at the last minute, so that was fun.
For anyone listening, the day of our benefit concert, of course, downtown Wilmington was literally hosting a massive like marathon, something. Every single road was blocked off to get to the Queen, which is our venue. And oh my gosh, I'm even laughing thinking about my mother trying to drop me off at the concert to like for a mic check. Mind you, I'm in LA. Like if it's a 40-minute drive, you're like, cool, sounds good. In Delaware, if it's a 40-minute drive, you're like, sorry, that's a whole other state. I am not going there. We live we live in a 5-minute drive from the Queen, my family. And she was driving in tears as if like we were in another country driving on the wrong side of the road. And she's like, I don't know how to get you to the Queen. I'm like, holy. And I think there was rain too. Like I think there was a drizzle. Like it
Yes, there was rain.
hilariously chaotic. My friend Julie had come in from New York to just like be my handler for the day, but also because we were going to celebrate my birthday literally right after I did my set. Because as I said, I never get a chance to come home. So I try to pack everything in, which proves to be the most chaotic and really fun. But it was the most rewarding day. I genuinely, I'm not even kidding you, Erin, that night. So for our listeners out here, I came in, there was the chaos of my mom dropping me off. We did the benefit concert. That went flawlessly in my mind, at least. I don't know your experience of it, but once we were there, all the performers were there, the people came in, it went flawlessly to me. Um, and then we leave. I go to the beach. My mom's planned this whole party. Like this woman has put this whole like party. I mean, putting in quotes. It's just me and like 8 of my girlfriends. But that is a rarity. Like, when you get older, you're like, oh,
Yes.
your childhood and college, like, and abroad, wherever you met them, from the 3 decades you've been alive, to get everyone in one room on the same night is actually difficult unless it's a wedding. And I just happened to, knowing I was coming to sing for the benefit concert, texted my girlfriends and I was like, any chance you guys are around? Zero pressure. And they all happened to be available that night. And so Erin, to sum it up, I actually cried myself to sleep that night of joy. Like I genuinely was like up at 5 in the morning, couldn't go to bed. I was like tears rolling down my eyes. I was like, this is such a beautiful day. Like very, I mean, some people say they've never. I've asked. I'm like, have you ever cried yourself to sleep from joy? Because I have, and that was one of those nights. It was
Aw.
such a beautiful night, and I absolutely so much had to do with just like we pulled that off. We you really did it all, but like we made something amazing happen, and it feels so good. There was so much like gratitude in my heart to be part of something that was just benefiting something wonderful and beautiful and just so much bigger than us, like our own entity. And
Mhm.
then I was surrounded by people I love, and it was so good. I cried myself to sleep. So my experience was an 11 out of 10. Very nice.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
nice to hear.
Hmm.
Yay.
What was your experience? Were you stressed? Like, how do you
Yeah,
describe?
the entire night I was a complete ball of stress. Actually, from the second I woke up, probably. But then once your set started, I started to like relax a little bit,
Yeah,
and it was easier to enjoy because the fun had started and the stressful stuff was over. So
yeah,
for the
good.
most
Okay, good. I know there is something about um like as a performer, I do a lot of musical theater now, and we call it like theater magic, but it'd be the same for any musician, or I made probably any actor who like starts rolling, or I'm sure there's equivalents in everybody's jobs, but like once you're on stage and the lights go up and it's like game time, just something takes over and you're just like all is well. It's going no matter what.
Right.
Like even if, and there always will be mess ups. Like I've been in shows and dudes, people have fallen off the stage. You know what I mean? Like the funniest stuff. But you're like, clearly that's not supposed to happen. I've been like dropped while I'm like being held in the air. You know, but when the show starts, it's just all is well. And I think that sensation means I'm probably just meant to do what I do. But that is, I'm glad that that feeling translates to people outside of off the stage. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
that is actually our job. Is like it shouldn't be a self-important feeling. It should be like, no, no, no. I feel this joy. I want to like share this joy with you. And
Mhm.
um, that's yeah. That's why I've like really migrated into like musical. I'm totally tangenting, but like
No, that's
um,
okay.
moving into like the space of like storytelling via like not just oh I want to come up and sing songs on the stage, like oh I want to be a part of this ensemble of people to tell this really beautiful story that one person can't do alone.
Mhm.
It's so so special because our whole job is to really is like make the audience change the audience's day. Like we're I don't know, I think when you come into the entertainment industry or maybe look at it from the outside, it can feel very self-important, and it can at times. You're running a business of one person. It's like many me thoughts or egocentric, but like, or it can feel that way. But when you're up there, the most special thing is like, I'm with a bunch of other people. We are all equally important, down to the person who's like literally ripping my clothes off backstage to help me get into the new costume. Like, we all are creating something for you guys. And so when you're saying once the music started, you felt more calm, I'm like, that means we're doing our job
Mhm.
because once we're up there, we're like, I should be in control and make people happy. Like, let enjoy their freaking drinks and have a good night. Like,
Uh-huh.
you know? So anyway, I'm glad. I can only imagine you would have been stressed that day, but I'm glad that. Do you look back with it with fond memories? Like, how do you feel?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. It's like one of the best days of my life,
Oh, me
honestly.
too. Me too. The crying yourself to sleep. Like, have you ever done that or am I alone?
I don't think from joy, no. I so I envy you that.
Maybe one day. Like, text me if you do, because I have a couple times, and that was one of them. Truly, there's not that many times, but I was so happy. It was a good day. Very special.
Aw.
Yeah.
And so you were talking about musical theater. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with Legally Blonde, the musical, and Tarzan too? Is because that's the most recent one you've done?
Yeah, and I'm actually like I'm moving to Santa Barbara in literally 10 days to start a new musical. And I'm excited about that one too. This is a brand new musical, like a world premiere of a musical.
Oh, cool.
Santa Barbara is not a shabby place to live. Um, so nice. But sorry, I'm looking over here because I have my somebody. I got that. And
Oh,
I'm like not. I had this like on the ground for literally 2 years because I was like, I'm gonna put this in a closet. Like I'm not putting this in my apartment. And then a friend of mine, yeah, like I'm not what? And then a friend of mine, I'm not kidding you. I have a hoarding problem. I have like just I can be very messy. I'm an artist. I'm a freaking tornado. And one night, a friend of mine came over for 7 hours. He helped me clean my entire apartment, like this whole portion. Not even not the bedroom. We didn't get that far, but like this whole area. And I'm like crying. Like there's just I'm like I don't want to get rid of this. Anyway, the whole time he was like, "You're going to be a lot happier. Like you are living in chaos." And one of the things he was very adamant on was you need to take the Legally Blonde thing out because it was still in the boxing. Like I got it framed, but I'd kept
mm-hmm.
it in the box. He was like ripping it off. I'm like crying on the floor, having an actual temper tantrum. And he's like, "It's gonna look so good here. Like it's made for this spot. This is where I teach all my lessons here. I do so many like worky things right in this little nook." And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
"It's gonna look so good." And I have so many videos of me being like, "This looks disgusting up here. It's so bad. What if we have like every complaint?" I was being such a brat. And then when we finished the process 7 hours later, I remember the day I woke up the next day, I was like, whoa, your space really does affect your
Yeah.
energy. Like a happy home, like, or a clean home, it's like a clean mind. I was so affected, and now I have that there. But anyway, queen of tangents. I like I did obviously we met because you saw me on American Idol, right? That's the connection.
Hmm.
And I was doing that show. I did this show for 2 seasons. And that second of, and when you're on the show, it's very like, I mean, I was still young and didn't, I'm still young, but like I was still very new in like, I had just graduated music school, which is really just, you're in 12 classes and you're getting a toolbox of like exploring who you are as a singer, artist, what you can do like physically with your voice. You're just studying. You're kind of studying. It's like a student being plopped out into the world. Like, what do you want to do
Hmm.
for the rest of your life? I was 3 weeks out of music school when I was a 24 years of being a professional student, and then I was dropped out and like landed the audition for Idol, which became the next 2 years of my life. And I was just sort of riding this unbelievable wave of, you're kind of I mean, Lionel Richie, one of the judges, he always says it's like American Idol University. You're learning about yourself no matter what, no matter how far you make it on the show. And I felt that. And I was like, I don't know. People kept asking me along the way, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know when I plop out at the end of this, but I'm just kind of, I feel that I'm learning about myself,
Hmm.
going through all these challenges and these tasks, whether they're actually on this TV show or just outside of it, while my life was changing so rapidly. So I was just kind of riding this wave, didn't know where I was headed. And then I obviously never expected the end of the second season of it all to be in this worldwide pandemic, and
Hmm.
which is how our first benefit concert came to fail, or not fail,
Yep.
but postpone,
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
came to not be to fruition, which I thought it did. I thought I had it happen. And it lives in my heart. I sort of like the world, what a lot of people do after American Idol is like, it's this artist ramp, and then you expect people to write songs and go on tour. And that just wasn't a thing during COVID. And I had a lot of life changes, like personally and happening, and professionally, because I'd gotten off of this escalator that was American Idol all at once. And things just can't, you, a lot in this like industry, I think in any field, you kind of try to build momentum. You try to build your business up, and then everything stopped. And somehow that was like a really divine time for me, because I just had this like empty apartment. And I started singing musical theater songs to genuinely like heal my broken heart. Like that sounds so sappy, but it was what happened. And um, I had nothing but time and time to be alone. And that was, I'm so glad the cookie crumbled the way it does. You ever look back and you're like, thank
Yeah.
God
Hmm.
that happened to me. Um, I discovered this joy for singing, like for singing musical theater. Like it was a joy in my heart, and it also just, um, it felt right to me. You know, when you just step into alignment somewhere, I was like, gosh, my voice even wants to sing this more than just like a pop song. I don't know. I just loved it. And then someone sent me an audition open call. It was a fan from literally American Idol. I mean, it's amazing how God sends you these little
Hmm.
door, these little openings, and you're like, if you take them, your whole life can be different, you know?
Yeah.
And I went out for this audition and ultimately booked Legally Blonde, and that was basically when I met you, was running that show, and that was my first musical since high school. And no one really knew that when I was up there, but like truly that was my musical theater debut. Like a lot of people meet me and they're like, you're such a theater girl. I'm like, dude, I wish I'd done a musical, million musicals. I was living my true best life doing that show. And we ran for a very long time. That's actually really not even typical. Most shows will run for like 2 to 3 weeks. We were doing a 10-week run. I was just learning so much about myself, and then I came and did the show. But doing that show, it just changed everything for me. I realized I like I found something. I was like, I'm made to do this. I can't, I guess the best way I can describe it is like when I'm in a show, whether we're in rehearsals or it started, I don't care, that whole process, I feel like I'm in a really, it's the way I feel when you're in a really good, healthy relationship. I'm just happy. Like my stress is down. I'm a better person to other people. I'm a better person to myself. Um, I I feel at peace. Like the cortisol is down. Everything is just feels in alignment. And so, and also in my career, I always say like, feel like I'm in Finding Nemo and they get on the East Australian current with the turtles, you know where I'm talking about, and everything
Yeah.
moves fast. The moment I booked that show, I like my career just started moving quicker. And I think it's because I found where I was supposed to go.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it was beautiful. I did Legally Blonde. That was honestly like a highlight of my life. And then, and then I booked a bunch of I turned into a TV film career that started, and I'm glazing over a million details, but and a million auditions, but that happened. And then I booked Tarzan, and I moved to San Diego last summer and did that, and that was crazy and stunning. I mean, it's we don't even know what we're doing. Like every person, like I said, with the like down to the person who's changing your outfit, like you're just trying to do your job as best as you can. And sometimes you don't really know. Like I'm just being Jane, trying to like as an actor go through, do my crying exercises, get my flying rig on, do everything right, and get on stage at the right time. Like that's how it feels. You're just trying to do your job and make sure you can tell your story of this one person, but then as truthfully as possible. And then I remember the night before we opened that show, we got the photos of what we were doing. Like someone had taken a photo, or they had hired a photographer for marketing, you know, of our preview run. And I saw those and my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my gosh, we're putting on a Broadway style show. Like, I mean, I sort of knew that when knew like the guy who was doing our flying. Like I was as Jane, I had like and Tarzan, you know, all the and these we're flying through the air. Like I'm doing spins and all these things. The guy who was doing our flying rig is the fly guy, and he does like Wicked's flying, all these Broadway shows.
Wow.
The fly guy, and he came in for it, and so I like kind of knew that on a theoretical level. But then when I saw the photos, I was like, from because it's a 2,200 person amphitheater, like from whatever back wherever they take these pictures. I was like, oh, you're doing. I can't believe I'm part of this production. Um, it was stunning, beautiful, and I moved to San Diego, which I kind of didn't think I was gonna like, but I loved it. Um, Time of my life yet again, and I got to like there were so many kids in that show too. It's a family. It's every season at that theater they'll do like one family show, and the kids get to be a part of it, and they're so lovely. It's so special to work with people who aren't just your own age.
Hmm.
Um, and they're so joyous. It was such a good time. It was so beautiful. And then, gosh, oh, and then I came back and it was the strike, which was actually kind of a challenging time because
Oh, yeah.
did you hear about the TV film strike? Did you know about that?
Well, yeah, the SAG one. Well, yeah, and the writer strike. Yeah, all that. Yeah.
All these strikes were occurring at once. And so it really, really did affect this whole city. This whole city was almost like COVID like it was just slower, a lot
Yeah.
less opportunity in a city that's full of opportunity too. Um, that was a it was actually okay because I'd had such a busy, I think like 20 months prior that I was kind of open to this. I think I've learned to, especially in the field I'm in, I have to embrace the silence and the stillness. I have to embrace the seasons because that is this work. You go from the outside, it probably looks like, oh, she's always working. She's got like employed, she's always doing a million things. It just works like, but in the real life of me, I'll be like, that job ended. You feel unemployed. And yes, I have a million side hustles and things that bring me in money, but like they don't necessarily feel the way being in a show feels. where your
Mm-hmm.
purpose feels aligned. And so there was a little stillness, but you just have to learn to, that's when you go back in and you invest in your craft and you invest in your relationships and you invest in your other side gigs. And then, anyway, I just booked another show and I'm going to move to Santa Barbara in 10 days. And it's super exciting. Long story short, I have clearly no short stories in my body. Um, is I'm starting a new show and it's very cute. It's I actually reread the script for the first time late last night. I just needed to read it because I had my fitting for wardrobe. It was a 4-hour fitting, which I don't know why it took so long, but it's set in the late 1800s. So you got the corset, you got the bloomers, you got all these dresses, like with a million pieces, and they're I can't even get myself into these dresses. They're like they have
Oh,
the
wow.
this whole thing. They're such cute outfits. I don't know. I live for a transformation. Um, but you know what's funny? Gosh, I'm tangenting. Sorry, but you remember like the classic growing up, like the Devil Wears Prada, the Lizzie McGuire movies, like that
Mm-hmm.
era. Just like every movie had like a makeover scene,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like a time lapse and they go from like frumpy to fabulous or whatever. Um, I just saw a meme on Instagram that was like, I'm gonna butcher this how it said it in a funny way, but it was just like life like these early 2000s like rom-coms really had me thinking like I was gonna have a lot of time-lapsing makeovers in my life, like really
Yeah.
disappointed. I've never had one. And these like those fittings are kind of like that. It's it's really fun, super fun. And like that's what they say, like getting to do the work as an actor is, or as a singer to do the show, is the reward. Like for every single play I'm doing or musical I'm doing, like I've done so many auditions and it's so much unpaid work. Not that it's ever about the money, because anyone doing theater is not about the money, but like for most of our job, it's not about the money. Um, a benefit concert, not about the money.
Right.
Putting that together. Um, but what was I saying about? Oh, it felt like that. But long story short, I am doing this new musical. It's called Alice, formerly of Wonderland. It's really
Oh.
great. It's based on a true story. It's so Lewis Carroll is like the pseudonym. What's that name when you like write a book under a fake name? Whatever that's called.
Is it a pen name?
Pen name. Yeah. So there's this, I think his name was like Charles Dodgson or something like that. There's like a real, in real life, this is true, a famous like mathematics professor from Oxford in England. I think his name was like Charles Dodgson. He had a pen name, Lewis Carroll, and he wrote the famous book Alice in Wonderland. And I guess the story is like he went out on some boat with like this little 10-year-old girl. I don't, that sounds actually kind of creepy as I say that, but it wasn't, I don't think it was creepy. I don't know their relationship, but she was the daughter of the dean of one of the deans at Oxford. Somehow she ended up on a boat with Lewis Carroll, aka the professor. He told her this like story, and they were like, "You need to write this into a book." And so he wrote Alice in Wonderland, and he based Alice, the girl we all know, the little blonde thing with the bow and the blue dress, off of this 10-year-old girl. Alice was a real girl in real life, and this musical is the story of her life 10 years essentially later as like a 20 or like a 20-year-old in college.
Oh,
And it's called Alice, formerly of Wonderland. And in this story, she's like grown up very kind of popular because she's like, oh my God, that's Alice from Alice in Wonderland. And she loves it. She's kind of a brat. And it's so refreshing because she's absolutely not what you're going to expect. Everyone thinks like, oh, Alice in Wonderland. You think like
yeah.
sweet, naive, and innocent. She's kind of a brat in this whole musical, and it's fun. And she basically gets in this. This is a true part. All of this is true. She falls in love with the Prince of England, like a Meghan Markle
Oh,
situation,
wow.
and because he comes to Oxford to study, but he's really sickly. Like he's just frail and has like they call it hemophilia. I think he's kind of like anemic or something, but it's really they didn't have, the medicine that we have in 2024.
Mhm.
So he was very sickly, and the queen was like very scared to send him off. Long story short, no one there. It's a forbidden romance because, as popular and cool Alice thinks she is for being Alice from Alice in Wonderland, um, she is no royal, and so the queen is like, "You will absolutely not be with this regular girl, and or I'll like cut you off from your medicine and all this stuff, and basically you're gonna die if you stay with this girl." So it's like very Romeo and Juliet. There's a love triangle, and
Wow.
I booked this show, and it's and then I had the fitting, and they're making, and then on Wednesday, it's just these days add up. I had the 4 hour fitting for all the outfits. They're doing like 17 wardrobe changes for this woman. I'm like, for Alice. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
When we run, I'm very intrigued to see once we start running the show if actually that happens. Because I have done a show or two with wardrobe changes. There is never as much time as you think there is. So
Yeah.
anyway, the outfits are so cool. And I am so pumped. It's never been done before. They've had workshops and whatnot, but this is the world premiere and it's in Santa Barbara. And I haven't met my cast yet, but I was supposed to meet everybody on Monday before we go. And then I just booked a commercial and it's on Monday. So I have to, after this, I have to email them and say, I can't come to the little tea and crumpets. And
Aw.
that's actually not very typical for people to like have a like to meet everyone. Usually you just meet
Yeah.
them. But I was excited about that because I want to know who my love interests are. I have two of them. So
Ah,
there are fun. It's like fun to see who you're going to work with for 6 weeks. You
yeah.
get work so closely with them. So that is on the next to-do list and I'm excited. And I read it
That
last
sounds
night.
really exciting.
I know it's fun. It's so um truly like we're at our best. We being like actors are at our happiest when we get to actually work because we do so much work that just goes like in so many jobs goes with no reward. You don't get the job because only one person gets to have the job, and there's so many
Hmm.
talented people. So it's exciting when you get to, and I get to get my hair dyed on Wednesday, and
Oh.
they're like, it's so funny because they want it to look natural. They're like, well, you can't have modern highlights. And so they're like sending me pictures, and it's men, it's like 60-year-old men trying to show how they think my hair should look. And I'm
Yeah.
like, let's just see how this goes. But I have the inspo pics. And I hope they're happy. Um, but anyway, it's all happening. It's all happening. So I'll be
Great.
in Santa Barbara. Mhm.
That's exciting. And the last TV thing was the last TV thing you did, Call Me Kat?
Yeah, because that was right before the strike. Yeah.
And that was so exciting. I remember like watching you. Me and Andrew would watch just your parts. I didn't know anything else that was happening in the show, but I'd be like, wait, there she is.
Yes, that was a life-changing job. And that's crazy because I, the way I got that job was nothing short of such a like a little Hollywood story. Like when I was doing Legally Blonde, the one I always do this because it's my posters over there, and that's the time in my life when I met you. I was running for so long. You know, when you do a job and you start to get better at it, probably like doing a podcast, you start like over time, you're like, or you do more benefit concerts, you grow in confidence. Like you start trusting yourself. You're like, oh, I can really do this. And I think that's the best, the most important, like where life really begins is you put yourself on a limb and
Yeah.
you learn you're not sure if you're going to be able to fly and then you just go out there and you learn confidence. Like true confidence has nothing to do with, oh, I'm pretty. That's what we think it is, right? On social media. It's like,
Mhm.
no, it's I trust myself to do this and I can do these hard things or these things I've never done before. And that was why like Legally Blonde was so special because I didn't know I could do it. And it's also like one of the hardest musical theater shows to sing as a woman. Like there were so many I would like my vocal coach during that time saw me have so many meltdowns because I didn't know if I could really do it. And I learned I could. And anyway, um, during that time, I realized kind of felt like third time was the charm. Like there was this might feel weird, but in my brain, I was like, I did American Idol once. And oh gosh, this is a classic story. Like, do you know who Just Sam is?
Just
She
Sam. I
won.
don't think
She
so.
won American Idol the second season I did it. She
Okay.
and that's the whole thing is you don't know who she like you don't know who Just Sam is because there's all these articles came out recently. Basically, like back in the day, if you went on American Idol, it had such a buzz to it. Your life was pretty much changed no matter what because it was such a big show.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you could do the show and literally go back to your regular life. Oh, I'm falling.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not. It's not the like hit that it was. It's big, but it's not life changing big
Right.
necessarily. It can be, and I think that's all a mindset. But anyway, Just Sam, there was all these articles because if you're naive, you really can think like these were such like true sentiments. Just Sam was basically like, I grew up on American Idol. There was no one who went on it and their life wasn't changed. You don't just go on the show and like go back to singing on the subway. You don't, that doesn't happen. Even in Just Sam's audition, the judges were like, you're not going to be singing on the subway anymore. And she wins the show and goes back to singing on the subway because you finish the show and no one helps you with your career after it. They're
Oh,
literally like,
wow.
why? Literally. And so, I mean, that's a whole conversation of its own, but that is the truth of the matter. Unless, of course, you're one of the few winners who they sign. But mind you, I'm really close friends with a lot of these people.
Yeah.
It is whether you're signed at the end, which the few people I never was, because I never even made it to the live rounds, but whether you get signed or not, it is your success in this industry is all a matter of mindset and how hard you want to work and like making it happen for yourself. And so, um, and building a good team. And anyway, I felt like I did this show twice, this life changing thing, and I was still like not where I needed to be. And something with this Legally Blonde thing, I just was like, you need to. I literally was in a 99-person seat theater, and I invited 1,100 agents and managers. I like did this whole press kit. I like was just like, this is gonna be it. You are going to get the people you need for the team that you need to get where you should be or want to go. Like I got these big dreams, and I've got this work ethic that like I just was like, this is it. Third time's the charm. And so I invited 1,100 people to come see me. It was a sold out show. Like I was just truly like on a Women in Prayer, like ready to fight with the theater people to be like, listen, you're using my name and my likeness to get people to buy tickets. You better let these people come in if they want to come. And like
Yeah.
you send that to 1,100 people. A lot of people did show interest because I did have I sent out an amazing press kit, but long story short, I ended up for like 3 weeks whilst doing the show, and it was probably right after I met you. Like I think I did the benefit concert and then like came home and clicked send on those 1,100 things.
Mm-hmm.
And I did 3 weeks of meetings and nonstop whilst doing the show, and like it was chaotic. I started booking TV film while I was doing the show, and long story short, that like launched me into the TV film world at the same time. And I was, and when I was meeting with the guy who's now my manager, he told me all these stories of his clients and kind of how they got their big break or their big booking. Because to book something like Call Me Kat, like which week is like a network show, like those are the dream shows to be on because they pay you
Yeah.
properly. Um, you're with the big. I'm kissing Mayim Bialik, like she for my part, like she's literally a household name. Those are the most desirable jobs in our industry, period. And at the time, I had no real network credits to book that job. I didn't even have agents yet. I only had a manager. And when you are going out for those shows, those big ones, you're going out against literally every single actor on the planet. Anyone could book that job. And I the crazy thing about that, and so anyway, he told my manager at the time, or that I signed with, he was telling me all these stories about all his clients, like big breaks, basically. And it's getting the internship. When you need kind of like to that thing of in any business, like when you want to get the job, you have to have had like 4 of those jobs prior, but you're like, I can never
Yep.
get the job. It's just you have to like fit this impossible moment in time
Yes.
to get a job that's impossible to get. This was this moment, and the story was as crazy and Hollywood as all of his other clients have passed, but it was in my own way. I had like tracked down this another production of Legally Blonde, and I was like dying at the time to get back on stage. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to book this job. Which, first of all, the girl who got it is amazing. I would have probably not beaten her out. But I was on a mission, and I'd found this audition via I won't even go into the details, but I was like an FBI agent who called my manager one day and was like, I think there's a Legally Blonde casting. We gotta find it. And I was crazy. We tracked this thing down. My manager is like calling the director's cell phone, being like, I got the girl for you, whatever. Lunatic status. I end up, they eventually call him back, and they're like, she sounds great. She looks great, because we had footage from me doing the show. They were like, can she come to New York? I'm like, you bet your bottom dollar I can come to New York. Anyway, I'm planning to go to New York. It was early 2023. Yes. There's always seasons of things too. Like in any job, certain seasons there will be like musical theater season where it's a rush of auditions. I'm just coming out of one right now. I was in the middle of one at that time. Overwhelming, really drowning in work. And I remember I was like, I'm leaving for New York City in 3 days. And why do I have more auditions pouring in? Like, fuck me, for a better word. Like, I was so tired. I was like, I need to focus. I'm going to New York City for my, like, what I think is like going to be the biggest audition of my life, right? And I remember I was leaving on a Wednesday. It was a Friday. And I was so stressed out. And I get an email, because with TV, film, and musical theater, you do not know when your auditions are coming in. They just plop into your email, and it's as if you're at work and your boss was like, so I'm giving you a new project and it's due in 48 hours. Go. And you were like, okay, so I have to move my entire life around. That is how this industry is. It's so chaotic to its core. And I remember it was Friday. I was like, okay, now I can focus on Legally Blonde. Because I was trying to learn how to dance. I can't really dance very well. It's a whole thing, but whatever. That's a tangent. This is to get to Call Me Kat. I'm just setting up how crazy it was. I was literally Friday night, I get an audition for something else, and it was due Monday morning. I was like, oh my God. I brought a bottle of wine to my girlfriend's house, and I was like, you guys, I just sat there. I was like, I need to have a little bit of this and relax. I'm not focusing. I'm so tired. And they were like, ooh, you should come with us to Disneyland on Sunday. We have tickets. Like, they're free. Like, come with us. And I was like, I don't think I can. Like, I have an audition due Monday, and I'm going to New York, blah, blah, blah. And fast forward to the next day. It's 11 p.m. on Saturday. I'm at this classic dance rehearsal space with one of my friends. He was giving me a dance lesson because I was going to go in for a dance call for this, which dance calls are like truly the most mortifying things in my life, because I'm not a dancer. I'm a mover at best. Anyway, I'm probably throwing so much terminology at you. Long story short, it's 11 p.m. I'm so stressed out. I'm talking to him, and I'm just like, I'm going to go do my best and probably be humiliated at this dance call. And like, truly, it was going to be like, I was preparing myself to fly across the country, go to the dance call, and have them not even let me read or sing, because I was going to be so bad at dancing comparatively. But I was like, I've got to try. I'm standing there, and I look at my phone, and another audition comes through, due Monday morning. I was so mad. I was like, why? And it was for Call Me Kat, which at the time was another in the slew of auditions, right? But I remember seeing 9 pages of material and a song, and I was like, I'm not well. I went home. I took an edible because I was so stressed. And I was like, let's watch an episode of this TV show, because that's what they always say to do, is like, you got to know the world to know tone, because a sitcom is so different than CSI. It's so different. You have to approach the acting differently. And I watched an episode, and I was like, okay, I get it. Cool. Sounds good. And I think I can just be myself for that one. Like I kind of was like, okay, I'm a little charismatic. I could let it, because for me, I have to really kind of tone it down for TV film because I'm very like that. And that doesn't capture well on like a very close up. So anyway, I go home. Sunday happens. I do both those auditions that had come in. I wake up on Monday morning because I filmed them both Monday morning. I remember I looked at my clock thinking, oh my God, thank God it's Friday. I was so excited. You know that feeling where like, thank God I did all my
Yeah.
work. It's done. And it was 10 a.m. on Monday morning. And I was like, wow, I have truly worked through the weekend here. And anyway, I was going to teach a kid, one of my students, a couple hours later, and I get a call from my manager, and he's like, "You've been pinned for Call Me Kat," which was crazy. I think pinned means like you're in a final choice. They're pinning you. That means don't
Wow.
go anywhere. You might book this job, and it's like it basically means do not like leave Los Angeles or the city that we're filming this. You
Yeah.
know, it can be anywhere from like 2 to 3 people who get pinned. For this role, I found in retrospect because I ended up booking the job 15 girls were pinned. That's a lot. That is a lot
Wow.
of people being pinned. It was like my first pinned for like a real job, real job. I had done some non-union TV film stuff, but this was like I was like, "Whoa, that's cool." Never expected to get it. I texted one of my friends who was a real actress, like she's been in a bunch of stuff, and she was like, "That's amazing, but just so you know, 99 times out of 100 they're going to go with someone famous. Do not expect to book this job, but congrats on pinning. That's a win. That means you made a fan of the casting office." Long story short, I go about my life. I'm like, the job was supposed to start on Wednesday, which was the day I was going to be in New York. So I had my manager reach out to casting and be like, hey, um, FYI, she's trying to go like for a Broadway thing. Can you like let us know if she's going to book this job so she
Yeah.
knows to get on the plane or not? Because she won't. I was like, I will not leave because it was also a life changing amount of money and role. So I was like, I will not leave if if there's a chance I'm getting this job. Tuesday night, I'm in a dance rehearsal with my friend again, and I'm supposed to go to New York the next morning. And I get the text, "You've been released. They went with someone else. You can go to New York." I'm like, okay, all good. I never expected to get the job anyway. I'm on the plane to New York. I had this like feeling. I was like, what if I like, should I get Wi-Fi right now? I didn't. I go to New York. I land. I get my bag. I'm in the Uber. 10 minutes into this drive, I get a phone call from my manager. I thought it was April freaking Fools. He's like, so they're at the table read and they're not happy with the girl they hired. You might need to turn around. They might be
Oh
hiring.
my gosh.
I turns out I was choice number two of all these of every actress in the fucking world. Like it was crazy.
Wow.
And I ended up once I got the job because all this happened, I learned all the minutia of it and 'twas crazy. But anyway, I um I was like, am I supposed to turn the Uber around? Because I will. Like, how the fuck am I across the country? Like, the job was working.
Yeah.
It was table read for sitcoms. They do table read on Wednesday, you film Thursday and Friday, and then you rehearse for the next episode Monday and Tuesday, and then you table read. Like, or sorry,
Wow.
you do table read, rehearse, shoot, table read in a row. So the job was working, and I was now across the country, and I was like, this will change.
Oh
This
my
job is a
gosh.
life changing job. I need to be there. I was so chaotic, so stressed. And then I was like, should I turn around? And they were like, well, they haven't fired the girl yet. So go go meet your mom at the hotel or whatever in New York. And I'm like, okay. And I'm in this Uber shitting my pants, no longer able to be a real person. I'm like, am I gonna turn around right now? So I go meet my mom in this hotel. I'm then getting a call. They're going to send your materials to the producers, which means they were still working with the girl, trying to get it to work. Meanwhile, they were secretly sending my materials through to production to see if they would greenlight me to get the job in case they couldn't get the girl to do the performance they wanted.
Oh my gosh.
All so stressful. I get a text. You've been greenlit by producers. Then they're going to send you to the network. So then I'm still like, I can't even look my mom in the eyes. I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
Like, am I about to get on a plane to LA and book my biggest network job ever, first one ever, or am I about to go to this dance call tomorrow and get my ass kicked, like, and be so humiliated? Which one? And then I am. Then they're like, "We're gonna send your stuff to the network. It still does not mean that you are getting this job." So I'm like, "Mom, let's go to our spot where we get our hamburger and our salad. Let's go get this salad because I don't want to jinx things." We go get the salad. I take about a bite. I've gotten the text now. Network has given you the green light, but that does not mean you're getting the job. Meanwhile, they're
Oh
like,
my
"Well, send us your social security number, everything, just in case you do get the job." I take like a bite of the salad. I get the phone call. Okay, they're firing the girl. You've got the job. You need to get on a plane to New York or LA right now. I'm like, we get the bill. And also, they weren't sure at the time if I was supposed to get on a plane or not. Like, there was no flight. But I looked at my mom and I was like, we gotta fucking go. And I was like, luckily hadn't even unpacked. I just go back to the hotel. I just was like, I'm gonna get in an Uber. I just felt like I needed to be closer to the airport because the airport's pretty far away, like where we're by the theater district to JFK.
yeah.
It all starts happening. I am in the Uber. Thank God I got in the Uber when I did. There, I got wardrobe calling me. I am, I'm like
Oh
the devil.
my
Like,
God.
everything's exploding, and they're booking my flight. They tell me the wrong terminal, which in JFK is no joke. You can't run from one
Oh
terminal.
yeah. That's the
Crazy. There's a train. I
yes.
I'm living a sitcom, trying to get to this sitcom. I am literally running through JFK, sweating my ass off. How do I get to this terminal? Can anyone help me? I make this flight by 8 minutes. And the only reason I even got on the
Oh,
flight is because
oh.
when they travel you, it was a red eye and they get you first class, which is amazing. I've never flown first class otherwise. I mean, that's the only time. It's really cool to fly first class. Like, you can fly on a red eye first class because you're sleeping. Like, it's cool. Anyway,
Right.
because I was first class and priority, they were like, we'll take your bag, just run. And I'm like running. I make this by 8 minutes. I get on this flight. I get the script on the plane at 2 in the morning. I
Oh,
land at 2 or 3 a.m. Pacific time. I go to set at 6:45 the next day and start this job that turned into, I finished the season out with them. They liked me a lot and it was great. And it was, I ended up getting an amazing team of agents from it because I booked that job with no agents. Like, it's one of those like little moments. It's like the lottery ticket where somehow I was so right for the part that they took a chance on me. And I actually get chills because it was like really, really cool. And of course, it happened in the most chaotic way. Um, and it was so amazing. And that, like, my whole team is amazing now. And they were like, my manager got like 3 calls in one day from the same agency being like, who is this girl and how did she book this? Because they had, like, let's say of the 15 girls pinned, they had at least 5 of their clients or something like that had been pinned for this job, and I booked it and I didn't even have agents, and they were like, who is this girl and how did she beat our
yeah.
clients who have all those network credits and us? Like, it's wild, and it happened, and I am so fucking grateful. Excuse the cuss word. I hope I can cuss on this thing. I'm so, I am so, I feel so lucky, and that was, it only happens in these crazy ways. And so I got that job, and that really is like, it's just, it's the job you need to get, that to get the other jobs. And it was a dream to work on. That was amazing. Like, it's like being on Friends. They literally say it's like the greatest job. It was so special. Yeah, and it only happened in the craziest of ways. Wild. So that happened.
Yeah, that is an insane story. That's like that is like straight out of a sitcom.
I know. It was so freaking wild. Oh my god. These moments, though, it's always like that. It's literally, this is the industry. It's like, you got to come for a callback and you got to be in New York in 24 hours. I'm like, okay, let's go. You just, let's go. It's just wild. I don't know. I have to be a specific type of crazy to sign up for this thing, but also you kind of have to be like a horse with blinders where you just look forward. And because sometimes if you like take the blinders off, you're like, holy shit, I am in a field that is so financially unstable and so uncertain. Like, but for now, I'm good. I'm booking and I'm working and I'm like really fulfilled and I'm growing and I'm really grateful. And like, God is good to me. And every time I'm like, should I quit? Something happens. And it's like, no, keep going, go forward. I don't know where I'm going to end, but I'm moving somewhere and it's really
Mm-hmm.
nice. Yeah.
When you're having a bad day or going through a difficult time, what's something you do to pull yourself out of it?
Mm. Um, I need to, like, I am kind of like a physical person. There's something like I always go on a walk. I'm like, I need to move my body. I need to get out of my head space or clear my head space. Like, I'm really weird believer in like, in my roughest times of my life, I'll walk for 3 hours. Something, my head clears. I see the outside world and I see nature and I move my body and I'm like, something shifts. It really helps me. And I'm also a massive journaler. A massive journaler. I was journaling right before I saw you. I write out, I write like literally pen to paper every single morning if I can. Um, and I could journal for 2 hours. I don't know how I have so many thoughts in this head, but I saw a lot of my problems and I see them on the page,
Yeah.
and it's a place for me to sort things out. And um, I mean, there's other amazing things that have helped me a lot. Like therapy is amazing. I did a year and a half of like working with a mindset coach, which was really, really life shifting. Um, it's also a lot of inner child work too. I don't know if you've ever done that, but those have been like therapy and mindset work were like massively helpful things for my mental health and if I'm having a bad day, like giving me real tools. Um, but then like small things, like a day to day thing is my journaling and my walking, and then like having good friendships, having good relationships is so important because you don't do
Mm-hmm.
life in a vacuum. You don't do it by yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
those are what I call upon.
Those are very good. Yeah, physical activity is important, and then like not holding stuff in and getting it out into a journal, that's really good too. Yeah.
You dance, right? As well. Is
Yes. Mm-hmm.
that like a big one for you?
Yeah, moving my body in general and then using music once I find like a song I really like and moving my body to it is definitely a good release of
Yeah,
negative energy or positive energy too.
100%. I literally I have this dance class I go to. Plug for 567 Broadway. It's my favorite dance class of all time. To do a live stream of it, Joseph Corella. I'll send you the details. He is. I discovered him in COVID. His business blew up during COVID because he's like a special person. His class
Oh, cool.
brings me so much joy. I literally cry during it most of the time. I'm so happy. It's so fun. It's weird that I cry, but it is the greatest gift. And dance is also I'm not a good dancer. I've seen you dance. You're a lot better than I am. But it's such a special. It's like the perfect amalgamation of like a song, art, and movement.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
it gets things out. I love that class. Everyone should do it. Yeah,
Okay, I gotta check that out. And
you
that's
should.
in New York City?
No, it's in
Oh.
he does it in Los Angeles in person, but he live streams because his business boomed
Oh, okay.
COVID. So that's when I discovered him. So he does live streams like multiple times a week. So you could do it. I
Oh,
started
cool.
in COVID on the live stream, and then he just happened to be in LA and he started the classes 10 minutes from where I live. But that is just lucky. He is amazing. His class is just as special on Zoom. So,
Okay.
so good.
Cool.
I'll
I'll have
text
to check
you.
that out. Yeah. Okay, and the last question I have is what kind of music do you personally like to listen to, and what is your current favorite song?
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. I got to go to Spotify. I am a freak for musical theater right now because it's stories. I just think the storytelling is so fantastic. Like my mom and I just went to New York for last week and saw this musical called Merrily We Roll Along. It's Stephen Sondheim, who's like he just recently died, but he's like one of the most famous composers ever because it's exquisite work. Like if you know Stephen Sondheim listening to this podcast, you're like, okay, I know what you're talking about. He writes the most exquisite musicals. It's not a pop song where it's like A B C A B C.
Hmm.
Like he's cramming so much stuff into one song. It's ridiculous. And it's just, maybe it's from the years of like going to music school and writing pop songs. Like pop songs are great and country songs are great. I love all that, but nothing like a musical theater song where you are just telling story, man. It's
Mhm.
so special. And so I'm actually going out for I'm going to New York for this callback right now for a show called Shucked, and I'm really excited about it. But I woke up singing this song. It's called Maybe Love from Shucked the musical, and that the character I'm
Oh,
playing for, sings it, and it's just special. I don't know. I love that musical right now, but I will obsess with the show that I'm in. But I think that's probably what everyone who's in a show does.
yeah.
But anyway, I'm a musicaltheatergeek.com. Everyone should go see Merrily We Roll Along. That's my plug. I don't even remember the rest of your question, but musical
No,
theater
that
song, their song
you
is
answered
it.
everything.
It's it. It's it for me. It's the story. They're so special. And you get in a room full of like musical theater people dancing together. It is crazy energy. We're just weird little wackos who like want to be weird together and are not afraid to like maybe look like an idiot. And it's just like a special, we're all living right on this end of this limb, and it's really cool. Um, so that's my current obsession. Mm-hmm. That's my answer.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay. And last thoughts, if you have anything you want to say to anyone that's listening to this and struggling, what would you say?
Mm. If anyone is struggling, I think the most important thing to know is like, even if you feel like you are alone, you are never alone. Like every single day in the journal that I was talking about, I write the um, affirmations. You are loved. You are not alone. You are enough. You are worthy. And it's so important to flex that muscle of saying those positive things, but know that you are not alone. And even though, like, I think in the darkest of times you feel that, but I remember I once talked to like a guy, it was like some therapist that came to like my sorority, and I was like, when you're feeling really in like a dark place, what's your best advice? And he said, give love out to someone, and like instead of just being like someone love on me or like help me, it's like do those acts of service to somebody else or to other people, whether it's friends or whatever, even if it's so small as like you're going to leave a Hershey kiss on that person's desk today or whatever. um I think that's a really good way to just pull your, sometimes the darkness, there's so many reasons for darkness, but pulling yourself as best you can just out of that, of just yourself, and remembering you are part of something so much bigger, and there's so many people around you who, and there's so many iterations of love in your life that exist, and just opening your eyes to them is so beautiful. But you are never alone, and there's so much love around you. And I think that's literally the song of my choice was Maybe Love. Like it's about love. Everything, love is the most beautiful thing, like while we're here. And so opening your eyes to all the ways you can find it, and you can just seeing it. It's all around you. And I think that can pull you into the light. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. This has been awesome. I've loved talking to you.
This was so fun. I thank you for pulling this together. I'm always so like inspired by you. Just like you really, you put your mind to something and you go accomplish it. And I hope you feel really proud of yourself. And this was so much
Thank
fun, and I
you.
can't wait to share it and hear the other episodes.
Yay, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take this off. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Our website is holdontildawn.com and our email is holdontildawn@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram at holdontildawn and on Facebook at Hold On Till Dawn Benefit Concert. See you next time.